Today is a great day. Today we get to install a turbo out of a kit on this snowmobile. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the past, if you tried to install turbos on your sled, it used to be quite the chore. A lot of guessing, a lot of cutting, chopping, trying to make things fit. And then the tuning, a whole bunch of issues there. But Boondocker made things extremely simple with this Boondocker Sidekick kit, which they sent to us, and we're going to install it on this baby. I can't wait. We have a total of about 6 inches of snow here, so it's going to rock. There's more snow coming, and where we go to ride, trust me, there's more snow. So it's going to be fun. A lot of people are asking, you know, Louis, you don't ride in the mountains. Why do you want to put a turbo on that? You got to come out here. Look it. I want to put a turbo on my snowmobile, so I'm going to do it. I want to drag race it. I'm going to have some fun with that. And we do hit some fun snow, 3-4 feet. And anything after 4 feet is pretty much, it really doesn't matter. You can have 100 feet after that. And yeah, it doesn't matter at that point. So we're going to install this turbo kit today, and I'm really looking forward to trying it. It's supposed to be really fun. I watched Chris Barant, a whole bunch of guys riding it, and they're having a riot with it. We've got some good snow in the future coming up here, so we're going to have fun as well. Not sure what kind of power we're going to put out with it, but I know that it puts a smile on people's faces, and I like to have a smile on my face, so that's why we're doing it. It's going to be good times. Let's take a look inside the kit. These kits come with everything you're going to need to put this whole thing together. You know, we worked with Boondocker in the past. We went out there. We've seen how they build things, and that's why I'm pretty married to this system. I know the quality and the passion that they have for this stuff, so it's really a no-brainer for me. When it even comes to just packaging, it's pretty wild. You know, they make everything in their own little individual bag. There's no confusion when you're putting things together. It just makes it all very simple for the average guy, just like me. Some of you guys out there, you know, I'm not a mechanic like I always say, so if I can do this, you can do it. So what's in here? Let's check this out. You got your tubes, charge tubes. There's a bit of a timing, this is an E key. It's an E key to adjust your timing a little bit. Everything is set up in these bags just perfectly. Not a big lump of bags. Now this has a tunnel dump, and a few things have to be changed as far as, you know, where exhaust dumps out and the air intake. It doesn't have that big intake sticking at the top of your sled, which looks pretty cool, but it's not that great when you're rolling your sled over in the snow trying to get it unstuck. This is the Sidekick tuner box, probably where the name of the Sidekick turbo came from. All their electronics are made in-house. They make them right there at Boondocker. It's pretty cool. I've seen their whole setup, how they build all their own wiring harnesses. They build their own boards. They do everything. That big baby. And it comes with its own clutch kit, so you don't have to try to figure out your clutching. This runs on pump gas. I don't need to run, you know, high octane race gas in it or anything. I can run this on 91 non-ethanol with no issues. Not sure what kind of boost it puts out. It's not a whole lot, but if you remember, at sea level, we don't need as much boost as the guys up running at 8, 10, 12,000 feet. We don't need that kind of the boost. We already have our horsepower at sea level. We're just adding a little bit more to it. The guys in the mountain, they've lost all their horsepower. They need to get it back up there. So when it really comes to the fun factor, us guys at sea level, we always have a little bit more power. Big air box, silicone kits. Let's take a look in the turbo, at the turbo itself. So it's got a GT 2860 turbo. The muffler's in here, the muffler kit bag, and the inlet kit bag. And let's see what's in here. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a sweetheart? I've seen the boys sitting there welding these up, taking these all day long. That's a work of art right there. I like that. And yes, it is cold in here. That's why I'm wearing my toque. The Americans call these toques. Americans call them beanies. Muffler clamps. It's awesome. Start your tunnel dump. More TIG welded awesomeness. And really, the heart of the beast. But you know, this all works as a package. It's got to work together or none of it works at all. Here's your turbo. You can try to build a system like this by yourself. Good luck. They put a lot of time and effort and testing into all this. I've seen them when they test, and it's quite the process. They load up and they go for a day and they pound their equipment very hard. Oh, look at that. So that's what puts smiles on everybody's faces. And of course, it comes with this right here. And although all of us don't follow instructions, I highly suggest that you do follow these instructions, and I'm going to follow them to the T because I want to show you guys how to do it, and I'm going to do it too because I want to make sure that I don't blow anything up or melt something down. All right, let's do this. Not sure what kind of install time, but we're not going to try to break any records. We just want to do it right. Got to remove the hood and side panels, obviously. Still some ice on here from my ride the other day, and it is cold in the shop, like I said. It's chilly. Good. Good. And Keely took off my panel the other day and broke it. I know he's going to say that he didn't. Hey? Did you say thank you? Yeah, I did. I said thank you. He's a little rough on stuff. We both are, admittedly. I've broken this sled in. It's got about 120 miles on it. We did it last week. And, you know, when I talked to the guys at Boondocker, talked to Rocky, I said, do I need to have this sled broken in? Nah, just put the turbo on it and start riding it. Just break it in with the turbo on it. Okay, not a problem. Look at that. Need to remove these. Need to slide this console back. You know what the cool thing is? At the end of all this, at the end of this day, at the end of this video, there's going to be a turbo in this sled. Yeah. Ouch. You should have a piece of tape around your screwdriver so you don't wreck anything. Scratch your plastics. But I don't mind scratching things. There's lots of scratches on this sled already. Beautiful. Get yourself a little box, keep all your parts and pieces in it, or you're going to lose something. That's what happens. There you go. Oh, I see. Oh, there's one there. Nope, I'll just pull it back with it. Should be all right. There we go. That's pulled back. We'll see if that's enough. If you guys haven't seen how to remove a belt on one of these yet, it's pretty easy. Or remove or change. Like one of these. It's got a team secondary on it. Spread the sheaves with this little handy tool. The belt looks good. There we go. Just hold your brake. Jamie was just asking about this. This is your drive clutch, that's your driven clutch. The drive clutch drives your driven. That makes sense? That's why they call this the PTO side, power takeoff side. That's where your clutch is. The other side's your mag side, the magneto side. Just for you guys who don't know. I know most of you do. You all know this. Make sure you don't lose your shims. Checking that out. I always look at everything when I'm in here because I like to see what I'm dealing with. Unlike most sleds, you don't really have to remove your clutch cover to change your belt. But this clutch cover here protects your oil tank, and when that belt goes, if it ever does, you need something around it. We need to undo this and get this out of the way. It's gonna be this one. There we go. So we need to take off this left-hand section of the air intake box. That's it. This looks like the ECU here. I'm gonna have to unplug that baby. Now, this is better to do in a warm environment, but our garage and the weather has been extremely cold. So the ECU is unplugged.
Just leave it in there.
Yeah.
Or not.
We're gonna lose it. Well, I don't like leaving anything around an intake box that can actually get dropped into an intake and then fall out. Ask me why. You need to undo these coils here. The good thing about these new sleds is that everything comes apart real easy. Everybody makes fun of my big long screwdriver, but it is handy. There we go. I need to remove the can. It's going to make it easier to get in, get one part of that loom or the wire harness off the air box so we can get at that. So I need to remove this can anyway, or the suitcase as I call them. Another one. I broke my good tool the other day. It's actually Keely's. I broke his tool. And one more. There. That comes out. God, that weighs a lot. There's a rubber little mountain here. We need to take these out because we do need these for the turbo. I'll get at that one in a second. There we go. Good pulling on that wire. There we go. That makes things a little easier. A lot easier. There. One thing they do, which I kind of like, is all their little zip ties go through these little grommety things here. I don't know what you call those. Easy to replace. The old school ones used to have the zip tie attached to those, or it was all one, and yeah, good luck. All right, need to remove the snow deflector and the grommet. That's good there. I only do these a little bit at a time. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I might have to cut the back of them off. Because once they start spinning in the plastic, it's really hard to tighten them up. Or you can just put a pair of vice grips on them. One. There we go. I'm just removing this kick plate. It's got to come out of there because it's going to be a tunnel dump. Oh, there's one more. There we go. So we need to lift up the back of the sled and remove the 2 suspension bolts. So that needs to come off. That's your front suspension mounting bolt. And these 2 quick drive bolts need to come out. What, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them actually. Now remember that when you do all this, anything that's going back on needs to be torqued to factory specs. Make sure you look that up in your manual. If you don't have a manual, you can get them all online pretty cheap. $4, $5, gets you a manual. That. And then take a marker. I gotta go in and mark around that, right? I just want to see what that looks like. Okay, there's no going back now, boys. No going back. Now, this hole is nice and round. When you cut it on an angle, it's kind of oblong like that. You want to make sure that you actually cut your hole like that. Because if you just leave it, you're blocking off a lot of that exhaust, and you don't want that. You want free-flowing exhaust gases. Put this little block-off plate in here. Having this stuff bagged is so handy. I'm loving it. I'm just going to put a little bit of RTV. There's a couple extra holes here. I'll fill those up. That way we'll keep a little bit of snow out of there. This little gizmo goes up in there. And that one goes there. There, done. Whoa! The turbo is in. There we go. Now I'm going to drain this whole system and put Evans into it anyway. I run Evans waterless coolant in all my machines. But what we need to do is we need to get these coolant hoses here piped up to the throttle body and to the reservoir. So the shorter hose goes here. Oh, we're going to use that clamp. It's a good clamp. You know what? I'm not going to take that off yet until we get over to the throttle body. You can eliminate the throttle body hose if you want. But where we ride, it gets really cold, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it. I don't want them freezing up on me. These hoses here got to get clamped down. There we go. Admittedly, it was a little tricky getting in there and getting that hose on the throttle body. You need to warm it up. It is chilly in here, I know that. off those zip ties. Put like those in there. Those just hurt fingers. And I put some rags inside the turbo here because I didn't want anything to get in there. So we've got our hole cut. That's not that bad. Looks pretty good. Just gonna let that exhaust out is what we want. Now we can start bolting this back up. And I'm gonna put them all in kind of loosely until we get that suspension bolt through there. Because, nice, there it is. On the second bolt down, we need to mount this little spring hanger. That's got to go in here. Look at that. So tighten these up. Like I said, don't forget to go back in and torque up those suspension bolts. I should put some Loctite on there to tell you the truth. They have a way of making themselves come out. We're moving right along. I got to take off this. Yeah, it's hard for you guys to see, but there are two oil lines. Well, there's a whole bunch of oil lines on this oil pump. I got to take off the top one. Actually, I'm just going to only tee the top one. I don't need to take it off, right? So I need to remove this. You know what? It'll be easier with this fucking turbo. Oh, I've connected that. Don't fall. This is one I gotta take off. Alright. Alright. And Boondocker supplies this little kind of brass or copper tee. That's gotta go in the upper one. I'll put that right about there. Right? There's not much room in here. Get over there. Yeah, these are one-way kind of fitting. Once they go on, they don't come off very easily. Well, it's cold in here. Makes it hard to put the tubes on, but also makes it so the oil doesn't want to come out very easily. There we go. Now this tube here goes into this tee, right?
Yep.
Because they didn't have this tube around there, that protective tube. Okay, so let's get that turbo back into place. So this is an oiled turbo. They do have an oilless turbo, but this is just one we got. I'm gonna hook this up. There's an oil inlet, but there's no oil outlet. It's capped off. So just the pressure from the oil pump keeps enough oil in here that as it gets used up, maybe it gets burned, who knows what, it'll always keep oil to the turbo. Now, one thing we're going to want to do is sort of pre-oil this tube, so once that turbo starts to fire up, it's not going to run dry. You don't want that to happen. That should be a 9/16. There we go. I don't have a syringe. They show a syringe in the instruction booklet. But I do have my little oil bottle. My trickle bottle. just gonna let that seep on in. Won't take very much. But I want to make sure that that housing gets filled up. I put a little zip tie on there on this oil line coming off the turbo just because, I don't know, it makes me feel better. This oil line is really rigid right now, but it's also 0 degrees in my shop, so it's pretty cold. And you know, it'll probably loosen up and it'll be just fine, but I just wanted to make sure that that's not gonna ever come off. That's pretty good. Moving on. Bunch of muffler springs here. Look at those, all brand spanking new. Got our V-band clamp. We're gonna hook up our muffler now, if you wanna call it that. I guess it does. Right on. We tightened all those up. Yes, we did. This is the bad boy. Which one is gonna go on there? Whoopsie. Right there. V-band clamp, one of the best inventions ever. I did break my spring puller, so I made a new one. Yes, I made it out of the screwdriver. You can use a shoelace. You can use many, many different things. There we go. That'll hold it. Double sprung for your pleasure. There, no more on there, right? Okay, so that still has a little bit of movement in it. I'm not going to tighten that up yet. This kit comes with a TL or tile, I'm not quite sure what it is, wastegate, and the exhaust system. There's a supplemental installation guide on Boondocker's website if your kit didn't come with one. I'm just going to show you. This is pretty easy. There's lots of little fittings and barbs and all kinds of stuff that comes with it. There's some water fittings. Don't need them. So you're out of my face. This upper barb, don't need it. Put these in the piles of spares. This one here does go on, but when it comes packaged, this extra little washer is doubled up. You don't want to do that. You want one on either side of this fitting. I'm not going to oops, this goes down here. I'm not going to tighten it up yet because I don't know how I need to clock it. Now there's this top one here that doesn't need to be capped, it just vents to atmosphere. And there are these 2 extra air ports that just need to be capped. That's it. You need to plug those with red Loctite. Or you need to fasten these with red Loctite. One, ready to go on. Let's do it. Do it. Sort of go like this. This one barb fitting here is going to go up to your solenoid for your boost controller. Let me see there. You're a big one, you're a small one. As with anything, it's always a good idea to leave these kind of loose See, until you get both sides hooked up. These are a tight little fit in here, and it kind of turns into one of those, you know, you don't tighten anything until everything is done. Now, not all of these kits come with this upgrade, but we got the upgraded kit. Just because. So that is loose. That was tricky. It took 2 guys to do it. We had to manipulate things around and make them fit. And I talked to Boondocker, and we got this earlier on, and they've made a couple changes, rejigged things a little bit so everything sort of drops in, but of course, you know, we got what we got. And we always make it work, because that's the way we roll. Let's see, we're gonna do this. Here, there's this one other spring that's got to go on. Right there. There, nice. Okay, what's next on this list of awesomeness? These little snap rings go around your throttle bodies. I'm pretty sure they provide a little bit of sealing before we put these silicone adapters on here. Sure they're nice and clean. So now they tell you, take them, overlap them a little bit, just give them a little squeeze. So they sit on those throttle bodies, just dandy. Here, I'll go over here. One, two. Okay, see, that's a potential issue. So when you're putting these on, did you see that on there, Simon?
Yeah.
So when you're putting that on, you got to make sure that you don't push that ring off like that. All right. And that's why I tried it first. Angle. There. Yep. It's in the groove. I can feel it turning. That's the key. If you try to push it straight on, it pops that ring off. But if you go on the angle, I gotta get the big airbox in there. Ow. There we go. You know what? I'm just going to grab it from your side. Pull that in. There. That's what did it. There. Well, that's good. Oh, I like that. When you install that, make sure your throttle cable is on the left-hand side when you're sitting on the sled. It's over here. And make sure that it's not coming in contact with this string pillar here. You don't want to wear a hole through that. Before you tighten up these clamps, you want to make sure that's clear. I'm still going to fit that intake tube and make sure that I'm not really contacting that. I don't want that to happen. Charge tube. Oh yes. Don't forget to take out anything that you have inside your turbo. Be bad. Really important when you're putting turbo systems together. I've done it before on vehicles. Built my own turbo system for my Land Cruiser. It's very important that, especially on the charge side, that everything is really tight. No air leaks. Air leaks are really going to mess things up. You don't want to go through all this work and have an air leak. Ruin your day. I'm not going to ruin my day. I want to make my day bright and sunny and cheery, full of sunshine and lollipops. Over there. I'll do this one first. And there we go. You want to make sure these clamps go on straight and not cockeyed, not on an angle, because they'll be throwing things off. You'll be losing air, wondering what's going on. That's good. I usually put the clamp out closer to the outside as long as it's not like curved. You can feel there's a bump on the inside of this tube. On the outside of the tube, acts like a bit of a seal. So it's going to help us seal things up. There. The coils and your TBAP sensor, I don't know what TBAP stands for, but they go on this new supplied bracket. Nuts and bolts here. Pull your coils off your old airbox. Whoopsie. It's pretty typical in our shop. We lose a lot of stuff and we can't find the 3/8 drivers for our ratchet gun. I'm gonna do everything by hand. They're around here somewhere though. I know it. You're gonna need a wide variety of tools for this, I'm telling you. Seems like there's metric stuff and non-metric and you name it. So this is gonna be over here. So those wires should be like that. Oh, like that. 10 mils and 11 mils and 7/16, which is the same as 11 mil. 13, half-inch, 14s, 15s, 16s, I believe, because it's Polaris. 9/16s won't fit some. Weird. It is weird. Remove these bulkhead bolts. This is where that little coil bracket's gonna go. Carbon fiber, really light stuff. Nice. Just need to plug in these coil wires. Blue plug to blue. It's tight in here. It is, not gonna lie. There we go. I think these are 10 mil. Now, I'm not going to change my clutching yet. I'm going to try it out, see what it's like, so I do have a baseline. They sent me the clutch kit for this, for the primary clutch. You don't touch the secondary. I like to try things my way. So, I mean, the stuff is in there right now. It's all brand new. It's clutched for 6,000 to 8,000 feet. That's the way they come from the factory. So, I'm just going to try it. I've ridden it, put 100 miles on it with that clutching the way it is. So I'm going to try that first, then I'll swap out the kit for their kit and try it again. We don't have a lot of snow here, so I have time to play with stuff. We're going to set up our cold air intake. This thing's going to need more air. We're going to give it some more air. I need to cut it like about that. Yeah. Yeah, so this is the upper dash assembly, or whatever you want to call it. Not quite sure. Upper kind of airbox assembly. It's where your cold air intakes are right here. So you want to place their intake right here. And then you just use your marker and you got to poke a hole in the side of your box here. So that's where you're going to get your air from, your extra airflow. They supply these little push darts, and these are good to use when you're dealing with an air intake system. Because if something comes apart, it's not like a piece of metal rivet that's just going to get sucked into your motor. Because that's worse. It's a lot worse. No, I need to blow all that out again, Simon. Oh boy. I'm gonna blow that out again. We're just gonna put these on, but we're gonna put them on loosely. A bit more. There. So you. You. And you and you. I just have to get over here and push this down a little more. Yeah. There. That's better. I like it when the ratchet goes this way, because that means the stuff's going back on the sled. Well, I like it when it goes this way more than the other way. There. There we go. Frog skins. Just goes right over top of this baby. Look at that. I'm going to stick these back in here a little bit. There. They provide extra springs for your Y pipe. You got to put those on because there's going to be lots of pressure blowing out of there. And this is going to be tricky to get into. Technically speaking, I think we should have done this earlier. That's the way I think I would have done it. Connect shorter piece of hose to metal barb. Shorter piece of hose to metal barb. And install one of these. There we go. Connect a longer piece of hose perpendicular barb. That's perpendicular. Okay? Perpendicular to this one. So my dad used to call groundhogs. He called them perpendicks because they always sat like that in the field. Has nothing to do with this turbo install. Connect shorter hose from solenoid to barb on the back side of the charge tube and connect with a zip tie. I can do it. Right over here. Charge tube. If you can see that. I'm going to pre-attach this here because I know what's going to happen. It's going to be tight in there. Goes to the tile, tile, this thing. We sort of changed this around a little bit because the other turbo that doesn't come with this tile wastegate, you need to route the hose into the wastegate that's usually on the turbo. So that's why we just did this the opposite way. So it was the exact opposite. We just didn't switch it around. We had to switch the hoses as well. It's just going to stay there for now. Holy moly, Simon, we're on number 55 of 64. Whew. Zip tie boost solenoid to coolant hoses. Oh, I like that.
You want longer ones?
I don't think so. I'm going to go. I don't know if I'll need one. I might. I need another one.
You got longer ones over there.
Open stock Velcro wire bag and install the E key. This is the E key. It adjusts the timing. All right. There's a little place over here. Little magical golden spot. I think it's in here. I think it's not that one. I think it's this one. Is that the one? I think it is. Oh, that is it. Is it? And this one goes on here. There, now put this back in. This TBAP sensor's got to be zip tied right here. There's that, and one thing I noticed is this air box a little loose. I need to zip tie that on too. So, a couple of things I would have done a little bit differently installation-wise. I would have put those springs on the Y pipe as soon as I had everything off it, because it's a chore to get them in there now. Make sure if you order an upgrade kit, you get the supplemental installation instructions on their website in their technical support section. And I wouldn't have installed this oil bottle as quickly as they said. I would have done a few things first inside there. I can easily just undo it, but it is what it is. It's back together. Now we're into TBAP. Connect Boondocker control box to ECU. Right on. Boondocker control box installation time. Don't need that. This has to go into the ECU. This is the brains behind the whole thing. Everything else is the brawn or the beastliness. But this here, sometimes it takes the brains of the operation to make things work. That's the way it goes. So, I know there's a big yellow plug down here. Oh, okay. So this, where's the other one? Oh yeah, I got you. Right here. So this one goes into here. Right. these out of here. There is a sensor that comes off the air box. This goes into here. Right. The main part of the wiring harness goes into the ECU. What's that? And then this big bad boy. I'm gonna put it up here. There. Should go like this. Done. And there is a little tiny hose. This fella right here. It's gonna come around. I don't know if you can see that or not. Goes into the air box. Oh, there we go. Like that. Done. Let me make sure nothing's binding there. That's it. Is that it? Oh, that little cutout. So I need to cut this little kick plate the way they show me. Oh. Take this one out. There.
Oh wow.
Just aluminum.
You have a grinder right there too.
Yeah. What are you saying? Saying I'm lazy? Yes.
You'll cut straight, but turning's gonna be a lot harder.
Oh.
Oh.
Sounds like you're.
Come on, you got it.
Sounds like you're doubting. I rebuilt a whole Land Cruiser with a pair of vice grips and an old screwdriver. I don't need my hat on anymore. A little bit. Got to put the kick plate in because you don't want to be kicking at your turbo. Should I have safety glasses on for this? We're good. So what we're going to do now, we've completed everything. Done. Except for the clutching. Don't worry about that. We're going to put the coolant back in it. We're going to put Evans in there. We're not putting the green stuff in because I don't like that. So we're going to put Evans coolant in it. We're going to buckle everything down, reinstall the suspension in the rear. Then we're going to try it out. I got to thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you come back for that video. We have to wrap it up. We're getting a little late right here, but make sure you check out boondockers.com for the Sidekick Turbo, and stay tuned because we're going to take this thing for a rip. Thanks for watching. All right, let's get this together, Simon.